Do the tap. Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Galt City Council to order. Coming back from closed session, do we have anything to report?
No, there are no reportable items.
All right. Moving on. We will reconvene to the open session, starting off with roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Here.
Councilmember Hewer?
Here.
Councilmember Campion?
Here.
Councilmember Powers?
Here.
Mayor Cruz?
Here. If you could all stand, please, for a silent prayer. Following that, Troop 119 will lead us in the flag ceremony.
Audience attention. Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard, post colors. Color guard reform. Color guard dismissed.
Very good job. They're pros, you could tell. They've been doing it for a while.
All right, can we get the video statement, please?
This meeting of the Galt City Council will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. Tonight's meeting will air Friday, December 18th at 9 a.m. and Saturday, December 19th at 9 a.m. It is being closed captioned and will be webcast at www.sacmetrocabletv. The City Council videos are also archived on the city's website at www.ci.galt.ca.us. A DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch.
Thank you. Council, do we have any agenda approval, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations, and it doesn't look like we have any of those. This will be a very short meeting. Can we move on to public comment, please?
Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the council on non-agenda items. Speakers may address council on any agenda item during consideration of the item. Speakers shall restrict their comments to issues that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council and limit comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the clerk.
Very good. And do we have any public comment? All right. Moving on to the information consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, I'll take the motion by Council. The gentleman. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Payne, seconded by Councilmember Campion. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Hewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers?
Aye.
Mayor Cruz?
Aye. Votes unanimous. On to scheduled actions. Okay. Moving on to the strategic plan. We got it going? Or? Ah. We're going to start off with enhance, maintain infrastructure and facilities. And Mr. Winkler, you're up.
Mayor Cruz and council members and members of the public, we're going to highlight item number 5 under this strategic goal, and that is that the Public Works Director will work with a consultant and gather input from the community to update our master plan for the 4th Street open space and parking lot project, and then present recommendations back to the City Council for action. We do have a consultant that has been working on this project for several years. We've sent them back to the drawing board to reconfigure and bring some new ideas to the table, and we're going to be going back out for public input on a revised master plan that will include beautification project for the fence, as well as new alignment of funding. Some of our funding was disallowed, so we're going to have to rethink. And then lastly, our lease with the railroad has nixed some of the planned projects that we were going to do, as that they don't want it to be a park. And so we're reconceptualizing what that would be, and after we gather some community input in the spring, we'll be bringing final recommendations back to council for action.
Thank you. Any questions from council? All right, moving on to enhance economic development.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members. So our economic development manager started work at the end of October, and she's been a very busy lady during the last few months, and I've asked her to come to the first meeting in February and to report to the city council on her work effort during the last 90 days and to give you a preview as to what she has planned for the next few months. So that is something we can all look forward to in February.
Very good. We're moving on to improve financial stability. Mr. Rudolph, you're up again.
So this item, which has been a long-standing issue for us, which relates to getting our finding of completion from the Department of Finance, I'm happy to finally report that we have obtained our finding of completion, and I'm hoping they don't take it back again like they did last time.
It's the state.
But assuming they don't, then we are in the process now of evaluating what steps, if any, we need to take in order to access a portion of the bond funds. And we will be reporting to the council on that within the next month or two. And then once we determine the process for accessing the bond funds and the exact amount, then the next part will be to look at the projects that we previously had on our drawing board as far as utilization of that money and assess or reassess what our priorities are, and that will be sometime in the spring of this year. But one step done.
Awesome. Next is attract, develop, and retain quality employees.
Okay, and I'm happy to report that we are in progress as far as hiring a police chief. Our recruitment currently is open. We are accepting applications through this Friday. And in January, we will evaluate the applications that we receive. And our hope is to complete that evaluation towards the end of January, first part of February. Be in a position to make an offer sometime in the middle to the end of February and have a new police chief on board by the end of March.
Okay. Moving on to enhance cultural and youth activities. Mr. Winkler.
Highlighting item 2, we're targeting the completion of the Harvey Park improvements that are funded by a housing grant fund that the city received. And as you're all aware, the playground equipment has been installed, and your council awarded a contract for the bathroom improvements. They are on order, and color selections have been made, and we're at about a 60-day delivery, and we're hoping to have that completed and installed by the end of March.
Great.
Awesome. And our last item is going to be improve long-term water sustainability.
And we're highlighting objective number 4, to identify and pursue water conservation and reclamation funding opportunities and report the results to the City Council. And we're underway with a review of potential objectives, and we'll be, I believe we already have a tentative calendar date in February to bring back some preliminary reports to you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the City Attorney's Office. Resolution adopting procedures for providing notice and receiving and tabulating written protests to water, sewer, and refuse collection, property-related fees, and charges. Ms. Hood.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. You have, as you know, Proposition 218 requires a certain protest hearing for water, sewer, and refuse fees. In fact, you have a hearing coming up on proposed water rates in January. But Proposition 218 doesn't outline the specific procedures that would apply for receiving and tabulating those protests. So before you tonight is a resolution that lays some ground rules for that process, so there's a clear understanding of how it will proceed going forward. The highlights of that resolution are that it would allow a record owner or tenant to submit a written protest, and it allows the protest to be submitted by fax, in writing, in person, or by email to the city clerk, and it provides the information to that so people know where to submit their protests. Consistent with the government code section, it clarifies that only one protest per parcel will be counted. So for instance, if you have a property owner and a tenant who submit protests for the same parcel, they can submit protests, but it will only count as one protest toward the majority protest. So it also requires the written protest to be submitted prior to the close of the public hearing so that there's a set end time for when they can be submitted. And it also establishes procedures for tabulating the protests at the end of that. The city clerk can then tabulate the protests and do what we would call a cursory review and determine if there's a number of protests that are anywhere near a majority protest, which is 50% plus one, even assuming all the protests are valid at that time. And if the number is not even close, then there's no need for further tabulation. So it just sets that process out. So hopefully it's clear how that will work. And it also clarifies that protests will be public records at the conclusion of the public hearing. So with
Thank
that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Council, questions? Okay, we have no public comment on this?
No.
Looking for a motion then.
Motion to adopt. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewer, second by Councilmember Powers. Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Hewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers?
Aye.
Mayor Cruz?
Aye, we have a unanimous vote. Thank you. Moving on to City Manager's Office. Animal Control Ordinance. Mr. Rudolph.
Yes, good evening again, Council. So in March of this year, the City Council formed an ad hoc committee to explore issues relating to the care, treatment, and regulation of animals in the city. And the committee is proposing that the City Council consider adopting a new ordinance, which is presented this evening, relating to animals. And this would be in lieu of our current regulatory approach, which is essentially Title VIII of the Sacramento County Code. And one of the problems that we have experienced in the past with the Sacramento County Code is that there are a lot of provisions within that ordinance that really don't apply to this particular community. It's a very long ordinance and a little bit cumbersome. So the county code is about 42 pages in length, and the ordinance that's before you this evening, which also seems a bit long, is actually 21 pages, so we've cut it in half. But when you deal with the regulation of animals, there are many provisions that need to be in any ordinance. So what in the ordinance before you this evening, in addition to provisions relating to animal care, custody, and control, you'll see that there are provisions relating to animal licensing, rabies and disease control, animal impoundment, disposition and adoption of animals, and then finally dangerous and vicious animals. So those are all, in any animal control ordinance, you'll see those 5 or 6 categories. So those do appear in the ordinance before you. Some of the key items in the ordinance that's presented this evening is that we have maintained the limit on the number of dogs per household to 4. But eliminated the current limit on cats, which in the county ordinance was also 4. We have included a limit on the number of puppy litters per household to 1 within a 12-month period. This was an issue that we had experienced within our community. There was not a regulation in the county code, so we have introduced that in the ordinance before you this evening. We have made an effort to enhance the regulations relating to animal care, custody, and control. In particular, we have tightened up some of the provisions relating to excessive noise, maintaining sanitation of pet enclosures, picking up after animals, and we've also added a provision that has a restriction on the care and feeding of community cats, which is the appropriate name for feral cats.
Could you repeat that?
So there's a regulation that's been added to this ordinance which restricts the care of feral cats
Oh,
or
okay.
community cats.
Okay.
So basically, what it provides is that you can only feed feral or community cats if you adhere to certain regulations. So one of them being registering with the SPCA, and as far as trapping and having the animals neutered or spayed and then re-released. So there's a provision in the ordinance that controls that process.
And go ahead. And that was brought to our attention because we do have people that are working with the community cats, and we did receive $20,000 from Supervisor Natoli to help with that. And we have people that really go out there and make sure they're trapped and neutered and put back, and then when they do that, someone is in charge of feeding them until the colony is gone.
Oh, okay. Is there a reason that, or what is the reason that we got rid of the limitation on the number of cats, I guess, that are non-feral?
Well, I think there was two reasons. First of all is that it hasn't been a problem that we've experienced in the community, and the second thing relates to just enforceability of the limit, because a lot of folks have cats that are outdoor cats as well as indoor cats, and it just seemed to be a provision that is not problematic and difficult to enforce.
But it is in the county ordinance.
Yes, it is.
You know, my concern is that, we don't have a problem today, but it always seems like ordinances are designed to fit the exception to the rule. And the exception of the rule is when you have a complaint. If someone starts raising cats in their backyard, is that would that be in any way a violation of this ordinance? If they have multiple cats contained on their property? Like a kennel, but it would be for cats instead of dogs.
Well, I think if we had that situation, I think our first line of defense would be to look at the zoning code and see if it was being operated as a business, as a kennel, and if it was not in the appropriate zone, then they would be in violation under the development code.
Okay. Assuming they're private cats or, just for private ownership. I get kind of nervous, I guess, when we start deleting things from an existing ordinance when we really don't have a reason to justify it. I would just as soon see the cats left in there. It's up to council, but
I would agree, because I think we've all seen those pictures on TV where, I don't know whose animal control, must have been the counties, have gone into homes where there were dozens of cats. And I'm thinking, we have a contract, don't we, with the county as far as animal control, so would they not be the enforcement if that occurred within the city?
Animal control doesn't pick up cats because they're called, dogs are considered property, cats are considered free roaming, whatevers, and they don't pick up cats, but, something like a hoarding situation would, of course, they'd come in and do something.
But that becomes a violation of sanitation.
Yeah.
And, my issue with having limiting number of cats is that there have been times when people are, somebody says, oh, they have too many cats. Well, in fact, it's because they're feeding community cats in the neighborhood, and somebody says, well, you feed them, you own them. And it's like, well, no, they really aren't the person's cats. Maybe they have a couple of cats in their home, but these cats in the neighborhood, they've just taken to taking care of, or cats because they kind of roam, and so who do you decide that they belong to?
Yeah, that's
Do they belong to me because I feed them? Because I care that they're out there in the, in the street?
I guess I'm more concerned about the ones that are being hoarded, as you mentioned, in the homes. And it is a health issue, but if this occurs, then does the health department take all the cats, or?
Animal control.
Animal
Okay,
control.
so-
Yeah.
So I was saying that there is a way that you could enforce this because of our contract with the county. And that would be my concern, where we've seen people that have had literally dozens of cats in their home, and that can't be healthy for the cats either. In fact, they've shown some that have been in really bad health.
Yeah, and it's for those type of reasons that I think, that is kind of the exception, but if you don't have anything on the books, it becomes that much more difficult to
Yeah.
enforce. So I would be in favor of not deleting that from what was the existing ordinance. Would make a motion to that effect.
And I would second that motion.
Okay.
I-
It'd
Any
be
further-
to amend, it'd be to amend.
Yeah.
Motion, so you're making a motion to accept it with the amendment and leaving that in there?
How many cats was it with
So-
the city? I mean, with the county?
It was also 4, but before we actually make a motion, I have just a couple more points to make, and then go to see if there's any public comment. Because of the fact that we have a contract between the city and Sacramento County relating to animal control services, we wanted to make sure that by going to our own ordinance, that we were not creating a situation where they would come back and say that these regulations were more costly to enforce, and that it would change the cost for animal control services. So we have sent the ordinance to Sacramento County. We did get a few minor comments back, and we've made those adjustments. So if this ordinance is adopted, it would not result in an increase in the cost for animal control services by the county. If you desire to add back in the limitation on the number of cats, we could certainly do that tonight, and the section that would be affected is section 6.04.030. And I don't have a number here, but it's under animal care, custody, and control. And what I would recommend is under Part A of that section, it would read, "No person shall own or harbor more than 4 dogs and/or 4 cats over the age of 4 months at or in any one dwelling unit," and then continuing on, and we would change the title to limitation on number of dogs and cats.
Well, I don't know that I'd want to make it and/or, because then it would limit them to, some combination of 4 animals total.
So we could say, or
Four
four
dogs
cats and
or
4 dogs.
And, yeah.
So there could be 4 dogs and there could be 4 cats in one.
I'm
In one
perfectly
household.
happy with leaving it the way it is.
Steve, the definition of harbor, if I
Yeah.
correct, is 3 or more consecutive days. So somebody couldn't have, under that proposal, somebody couldn't have more than 4 dogs or cats, or cats, for more than 3 days? Is that, because, the definition of
That's
harbor
correct,
says means
yeah.
feeding, caring for, or sheltering of an animal for 3 or more consecutive days. There's people that foster animals.
Right.
Foster strays for more than 3 days. Sometimes you have to do it for 30 days, and you have up to 30 days to find the owner. So I guess I'm hesitant to think that we might be stopping some of the citizens in the community who come forward to try to foster some of our stray animals in town.
And we have a great group of people that are doing that, so I would hate to discourage them from doing it, and especially when kitten season comes along.
Do we have anything about temporary fostering?
I don't think there's any provision relating to temporary
I didn't
fostering.
read anything, and that's what I was,
Yeah.
because sometimes if you have 2 or 3 of your own animals and then you foster until they can find homes, you could exceed the limit.
Well, we could, if it's the council's desire to add a provision relating to that, then I would I would most likely ask for a continuance so we can think this through, because just extending the number of days for harboring to say something like 30 consecutive days, I don't want to create a situation where somebody has the pets for 30 days, consecutive days, and then there's a break of 2 days, and, they've got the pets again. So we don't, I think we need to think it through so that we don't create a situation where we have somebody that's not necessarily fostering animals, but they frankly are just have too many dogs, but they send it to their, send the extra dog or two to a relative for a few days, and they bring it back, and then they're okay. I mean, it's kind of it would be a loophole in our ordinance if we wrote it that way, unless that's the desire or direction of the council.
Or there's the other option, and my children go on vacation and I end up keeping their dogs and I exceed the number, right?
Yeah.
So is it council's choice to continue this to the next meeting so they can do a little more revising on this?
It's not my choice, so can we take a vote on it? I think it's fine the way it is.
Do we need to vote on a continuance?
Well, I think, the direction I would appreciate is if there is a desire from the council to revise the ordinance to deal with a foster care situation and allow for additional dogs beyond 4 for more than 3 days, then I would want that, I would appreciate the direction, and then we will draft accordingly. If that's not the desire of the council, then there would not be a need for a continuance to make those adjustments.
Okay, well, we currently have a motion on the floor. Do you wish to continue that motion? Or do you wish to withdraw it?
I'll withdraw that for now, but I do have a question as it relates to, I'm not opposed to coming up with something dealing with temporary fostering, but I guess that's a case where I think how many times have we had complaints for excessive dogs and it turned out to be fostering? I mean,
That's why I think that adding more and more and more to all of this is like, why are we adding more and more stuff like the fostering? Because you're right, most of the complaints, and trust me, I've been on the end of one, the good end, complaining, has always been for excessive dogs.
right. And I see a chance, for abuse. Quite frankly, if you do put something in there for people to to work around it. I still feel that we need to address the issue of cats. That we had it in the ordinance, the existing ordinance. I see no reason to take it out. I mean, it just leaves open, for situations where it may be needed. And again, I don't think we've ever had to enforce it. At least I'm not aware of it. But if we haven't enforced it, I don't see any reason to get rid of it.
Well, I think it's because we added the part about community cats to it. It wasn't there before in the other, was it? And that was very important,
But that's-
that we added that.
But there's a distinction that you're not sheltering those cats. Those cats are presumably out living somewhere else. So these would be harbored cats. Living.
Well, sometimes sometimes they are close by to somebody's house.
So a few comments on, on the enforcement of this ordinance. It is complaint-based, so, unless we receive a complaint, we're usually not running around enforcing this particular ordinance or counting, number of animals. And the only time where we usually get complaints that relate to the number of animals is if there's a barking problem or there's a sanitation problem, and then we respond to that particular complaint and then find that there happens to be an excessive number of dogs. But unless there was some other issue, in all likelihood, we would not know about, nor would we frankly care about the number of dogs if they're being housed in a sanitary manner. There's not a barking issue, and they're being cared for.
Okay.
And the same could be said for cats.
Just one tiny question about that, though. What about the situation where certain people are, and I'm going to say, breeding or training like pit bulls where they have more than 4? Would that,
Five is considered a breeder.
so
And-
would that be,
We don't do breed.
would that be covered?
Yeah, so, well, there'd be a limit on, they would have the limitation of 4 dogs. So that would be the pit bulls or any other kind, that would be the limit on the number of animals that they'd be able to have.
Okay. I mentioned that because that seems to be something that happens. You know, they train the pit bulls specifically.
Okay, so currently you have the ordinance, I'm sorry, will you finish the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we looking for a motion at this point to accept the ordinance?
Public comment? No public comment?
We have no public comment on it.
I would make a motion to approve, however, amending the section dealing with the number of animals to include 4 cats with the same provision for dogs. That would be my motion.
I have a question. You had a motion and a second.
He withdrew
I
it.
don't think there
And
was.
I withdrew it because it was getting mixed up with the temporary.
So then do I need to withdraw my second?
No, I think the motion's been withdrawn.
No, he withdrew the motion, so.
So
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
what is the motion? Did you
The motion
read
is
it?
to include cats, limitation of 4 cats.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Campion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Vice Mayor Payne. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne,
Aye.
Councilmember Hewer,
Aye.
Councilmember Campion,
Aye.
Councilmember Powers,
No.
Mayor Cruz.
Aye. Carries 4-1.
Okay, thank you. So just as a clarification, that is an introduction of the ordinance.
Correct.
We'll bring it back for adoption with the amendment at the
Correct.
next regular meeting.
All right, moving on to item K4, First Amendment to the Employment Agreement for Interim Police Chief.
Did we want to skip to item number 5? I see Supervisor Natoli out in the audience.
You certainly can do that if you desire, Mayor.
Council, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right to it. Then we will move on to K5, approval of agreements with Sacramento County for library expansion, support services, and grant funding and related funding appropriations.
Mayor and council members, this item has 3 recommendations tonight. One, we're recommending that you do approve 2 agreements with the county of Sacramento. The first recommendation is to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Sacramento County for project and construction management services for the Galt Library Addition in an amount not to exceed $184,000. Second recommendation is to authorize the city manager to execute a second agreement with Sacramento County for conditions related to the receipt of a $100,000 funding grant to assist with the development and construction of the expansion to the Galt's Marion O. Lawrence Library. And thirdly, that you approve the addition of the library expansion as a capital improvement project within the city's CIP program, and authorize a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $250,000 to fund the initial phase, which is the design and environmental clearance phase of the project. And just by way of quick further comments is we're very pleased. I do see Supervisor Natoli in the audience, and he, I guess, I don't know all the details and he can share more, but the county does have some available funding for community projects within the respective districts, and he has earmarked and recommended and endorsed us receiving $100,000 towards this, which will go a long ways toward getting the design done.
Very good.
Could I also
Yes, ma'am.
mention that we do have representatives from the county library board as well as our own librarian in the audience, and glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a couple of minor comments I'd like to add on. First, I do want to extend my appreciation to Supervisor Natoli for the assistance, financial assistance, the $100,000, which is money that is directly within his discretion, which he has made available to us pursuant to this contract. He's also been a big assistance in helping us to facilitate this agreement with the County of Architectural Services. And they've been fantastic to deal with, but Supervisor Natoli was monitoring the process and always available to assist if needed. And I'm very grateful for his help and for his attending tonight to help us take the next step on this important process for the community.
Very good. Supervisor Natoli, would you like to speak?
As a politician.
Local one, though. I want to thank you for the opportunity to address the council, Mayor Cruz, and members of the council. And hopefully I didn't interrupt the employment contract for Chief Drummond, who I've known Dan for many, many years, so I didn't jump over. I appreciate that, but it's actually nice to be close to home this evening and be here with all of you. I do just want to say good words certainly to leadership of your council and your mayor and your city staff. I know that conversations within the community framework, working with your librarian and with some of your support groups, certainly users of the library, it's become clear, obviously, to this community, as it does in many other communities, that not only the importance of libraries, but as your community grows, some of the needs within the framework of certainly the libraries grow as well. And I know that Mr. Winkler and certainly Mr. Rudolph and others have been involved at the level of talking with both library staff, but certainly with your friends of the library and with county representatives. And again, this is your taxpayer dollars at work. We are fortunate enough within the county framework to have a couple of funding sources, some of them from the hotel, motel, transient occupancy tax monies that are allocated per district, and there were some proceeds left over from the tobacco litigation settlement money some years ago, and some interest earnings. And so each of the 5 supervisory districts were able to get some community investment dollars and for projects such as this, where you have obviously your council and the community stepping forward. Obviously, there's still a big pull ahead, not only with obviously design, but certainly the funding of the improvement. But I think it's to your credit and certainly this community's credit that you had that nucleus. I'm very glad to be able to assist in a small way, but it's your leadership and certainly my community as a part of the, certainly live in the Galt area, but in the broader community context. And so I think it's going to be a wonderful addition. I know that the use certainly of the current library is one where it strains, I'm sure, the abilities of the staff as well as the support group there to make available space for all the different types of activities in the library. And I would just lastly say, we all know that libraries provide an opportunity for learning, for entertainment, for a gathering, for experiences for people of all ages and from all walks of life, and certainly here in the Galt community. To have the namesake of Marion Lawrence, who was my 8th grade teacher, but someone who served as a predecessor to all of you on the council many years ago. I think it's really, again, a tribute to this community and to its recognition of the importance of libraries and what goes on in libraries, and certainly the support that you have with the Friends of the Library. And you have Lois here, who is obviously a local resident as well, works for the county library system, does a great job. So I've said enough. I did just want to thank you for your leadership. Wish you well in the effort, and again, I stand ready to assist this community and certainly your council and your staff any way I can if there's any glitches along the way. And look forward to the day when you break ground, and even more to when you cut the ribbon to open the new community addition to your library. So thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks. And just I'd be remiss. I just wanted to wish Inez a very a good send-off. I know 28 years and
Wow.
serving the city and the people of this community, and I'm not able to attend on Friday, but I did want to have my congratulations to you for your public service, and thank you for your good work, and I wish you well in retirement. So, anyway, thanks again.
Thanks, sir. Okay, any further discussion from council? Okay, I know this is broken into 3 parts. I believe we could take one motion for all 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion from council.
So moved.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Payne. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Hewer. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Hewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Powers.
Aye.
Mayor Cruz.
Aye. Passes 5-0. We didn't forget about you, Chief. All right, we're going to move back to K4. the First Amendment to employment agreement for interim police chief. Mr. Rudolph.
Yes, sir. So we've been fortunate to have the services of Chief Drummond since, I think, March, or actually it was April of 2015. At the time that we brought the chief on board, we anticipated to need his services through the end of this year. We misrepresented that information. And we're now back on track with the recruitment of the police chief. And we postponed that process in order to recruit a city manager and to have the new manager participate in that process. We do need a slight extension to the chief's agreement, which will take his services through the end of March, which will still comply with all PERS requirements. And with that, I would ask for your approval of the resolution approving the First Amendment to the chief's agreement.
Very good. Any questions from council? We have no public speakers on this. I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilmember Campion. Second? Second by Councilmember Hewer. Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne. Aye. Councilmember Hewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Powers.
Aye.
Mayor Cruz.
Aye. Just a little caveat. This threw me off when I saw this capitalized First Amendment. I thought we were doing something with the Constitution. It's like, what?
Let me just say thank you, Chief Drummond, for staying with us for a few more months.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to communications. Do we have any? No, we haven't gotten there yet.
No,
We're
we
getting
do
ahead
not
of
have
it.
any communications.
Okay, then we will adjourn to the Galt Habitat Foundation. Roll call, please.
Board Member Payne. Here. Board Member Hewer.
Here.
Board Member Campion.
Here.
Board Member Powers.
Here.
Board Member Cruz.
Here. Okay, we have no public comment. Looks like we have 2 items on the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve? A motion by Vice Mayor Payne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hewer. Call for the vote, please.
Board Member Payne. Aye. Board Member Hewer.
Aye.
Board Member Campion.
Aye.
Board Member Powers.
Aye.
Board Member Cruz.
Aye. That'll pass 5-0. We will reconvene to the Galt City Council. City Clerk's report.
Just a few things. The Beautification Committee this Thursday has been canceled, and next week the city offices are closed for the Christmas holiday on December 23rd and 24th. And the Commission on Aging meeting has also been canceled. It was on December 24th. That brings us to Galt Youth Commission on January 4th, 2016. And also as a note, the January 5th regular city council meeting has also been canceled.
Very good. Comments by staff. Mr. Rudolph, we'll start with you.
Thank you, sir. So I have 2 items tonight. First item is with your approval of the employment agreement with Gene Palazzo. I want to be the first to congratulate our new city manager and welcome him to the city of Galt. He's in the audience this evening. And I look forward to working with Gene, and hurry up and get here.
Great.
The second item I want to mention this evening is, as Supervisor Natoli indicated, this is Inez's last city council meeting. You probably haven't been keeping count. And in addition to the years of service, it is just amazing when somebody of Inez's quality and dedication and hard work provides essentially her entire professional career to one organization. That is really, it's commendable, and it was our good fortune to have her services for that period of time. I have come to rely upon Inez as a trusted advisor in the years that I've worked for the city, and frankly, it makes me a little bit nervous, the fact that she is retiring. But thank you, Inez, for all of the amazingly good work, hard work that you've done for this city, and best of luck and good health in retirement.
Awesome. With that, before we go any further, I thought I'd let council have their chance to say something to Inez, starting with Mr. Campion.
Why?
You've done a long time.
I worked with Inez for over 20, with her for over 20 years, and a lot of my thoughts are echo what the city attorney said. There was never a question in my mind about information I got from your office. The most difficult issue in working with Inez is if you don't frame your question correctly, you're not going to get the answer you're looking for. So you have to be very precise and very accurate, and know exactly what the question or the answer you're looking for. And if you don't know, what you would do is you would explain it in a global sense and let her tell you what you wanted to know. So I thought that was, and it's the only person I've ever met or worked with that's how it was so precise. And Inez, the other thing is, I mean, the safety level and security, knowing that you were in charge of the city's finance. Never had any doubt when I was an employee working here and as a council member. So I don't know what else to say other than I think you've done a tremendous job for the city of Galt. And you will be missed.
Thank you, sir.
My old treadmill buddy. Well, I'll still be seeing you at the gym on the treadmill, correct? We got a lot of good discussions in during that. I think you took stuff that was difficult to understand and made it easy for us, and I think we will always appreciate that. And I just want to say that I just think you're an incredible human being and a really great gal. And I'm really going to miss you.
Lori?
I think the amazing thing, Inez, is city councils have come and gone, city staff have come and gone, city managers have come and gone, but Inez was always here. And I just don't know what it's going to look like to watch a council meeting and not see Inez in that position, because everybody else has come and gone. You've been the stabilizing force and the thing that kept us all in line. So I wish you the best in your retirement. You're an amazing person. You've done an amazing job, and the community service that you've provided to this community is the highest level.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Well, I just want to say that about 11 years ago, when I was trying to understand, when I first got on the council, understand all this stuff about budgets and funding and everything, I had a million questions for Inez, and she was so patient, at least to my face. No, she was very patient and helped me to understand those very important things, and I appreciate that. Also, I'm proud of the audits that we've always gotten, all the good comments and the awards and everything that you have gotten for the city of Galt, and I know that's because you do such a great job. And you always had such a nice, fun personality that we are going to miss that too. You're always there smiling through budgets and everything. But I do hope to see you still in the community, so we'll miss you here, but hopefully you'll stay in touch. Thank you for all that you've done.
The hard part is being the last one to talk. Everybody said all the nice things already. I've known you since I've been with the city, back when I was a wee police officer just starting with the city. And I can tell you, this lady knows her things about finance. And as Kurt said, you better get it right, because it's going to come back to you if you don't. But it was always nice to work with you and have you explain things in a manner that made us understand. And I really, like Barbara said, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss the smile at every council meeting. Whether it was good news or bad news, you always had a smile. You always kept a positive attitude about it, and it really impressed me. And I don't know how we're going to be able to fill that. So I wish you well in your retirement, and don't forget about us. Moving on. Ms. Hood, did you have anything within staff?
Just best wishes to Inez. Welcome to Mr. Palazzo, and happy holidays to everyone. Looking forward.
Mr. Solis?
Good luck on his, but I'd also like to thank the Lighting of the Night event, the staff. I'd like to thank Patrice Marino, who coordinated the parade, Parks and Rec staff, Public Works staff, and the police staff that made everything possible throughout the night. And Santa Claus, if he can hear me, I'd like to thank him for another year of great pictures. I'm sure I forgot somebody, but thank you to everybody for making it another great event. And for Parks Maintenance staff for having the pride in wanting to change the tree location and upgrading the tree. So thank you to them.
They did an awesome job. Paula? Nothing. Mr. Winkler?
Two quick items.
Your promise is going to be quick, right?
We did not have at the last council meeting the report for your November water usage, so I wanted to give you that update, and that we're not going to meet again until the middle of January. With a lot of effort on the part of our residents and businesses, we hit another 15-year low, and unlike the previous month for November, that just eked us at our 32% goal. So that's good, and we hope we keep up the good work. It's tougher as we go into winter because the easy stuff of just turning off the sprinklers is that low-hanging fruit is no longer with us. So now we got to work on shortening showers and reducing the number of loads of laundry, et cetera. So we encourage the community to keep doing that. Second item is working closely with our finance department. Long last, we are mailing probably in the next few days the first set of example or sample mock bills for the flat rate customers to give them an idea. That'll be looking at a 2-month window from mid-July through mid-September. So they're going to get to look back at their summer usage. And then over the next few months, we'll be rolling out in 2-month increments additional sample bills so they can look for high usage patterns, leaks, maybe they want to replace some fixtures or faucet aerators or check for leaks in their toilet or et cetera. So those will be going out, and with them will be a frequently asked questions sheet to kind of explain a little more and maybe head off some of the phone calls we might otherwise get. So coming soon to a neighborhood near you.
Was that on a limited number of residents for this utility, for this cycle?
The transition plan will apply. Obviously, we have about 10% of our residents and all of our businesses that are already metered. So they're unaffected by the transition plan. So it would be all the remaining flat rate customers, and there is a group of about 500-ish that the Meadowview area, about 220, and then there were others that weren't completed by July 15th, which would be our first sample bill period. So they will trail behind. They will still get their 4 sample bills, but they'll be on sort of track 2 and trailing about 2 months behind the others. And they will each see their first live bills in either June or August, respectively. Next year.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. Mr. Stewart.
Just a real quick development update. So we've got many single-family homes under construction right now, getting finalized off every day, and more on their way. Our next 2 Planning Commission meetings will be fairly large, with Dry Creek Oaks coming back, and then we've got Cedar Flats in January, along with Eastview. And then finally, just also want to say congratulations to Inez. Going to miss you up here. And I'm not exactly thrilled that you're sticking me by myself with Winkler for a while, but I do.
Inez.
So, good evening, council and committee members. So, yes, it's true. After 28 years as the finance director, I am retiring. So, my last day at the office will be on January 4th. But I wish I could say this was the only place, but I have actually 37 years in a public service with the state of California and the city of Lodi. So, but I actually was here for 28 years. More than half of my life was with the city of Galt as a finance director. So it really has been a pleasure working alongside so many of you and serving the community of Galt. And it's really with my sincere appreciation that I've really enjoyed working here. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to all the other friends and business partners that I've made over the last 28 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Comments by City Council. Councilmember Hewer?
It's our last meeting before the holidays, so I just wish everyone a Merry Christmas
Okay.
and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you almost toward the end of January.
See you next year.
Next year.
Councilmember Campion?
Same thing. Hope everybody stays safe over the holidays. Wanted to thank Armando. He did make a run for additional candy for National Night Out, but anyway, 'cause we gave it all out.
Yes, we did.
Anyway, that's all.
Councilmember Powers?
First of all, I'd like to say that the senior luncheon, December 10th, was a really big hit. I want to thank everybody here. Supervisor Natoli came, everyone practically here. I did tell him that you couldn't make it.
Sorry, I couldn't.
It was our 9th annual, and it just gets better every year. And it was such a trip when I started to announce everybody, and I looked over and saw that half the city staff was serving the seniors. That was really great. They had a great time. There was about 160 of them, and they look forward to it every year. And I want to thank you all for coming out and volunteering. Also, to tell you, Rayleigh's Food for Families, if you can, donate $10 and a $27 bag of groceries will go out to a needy family in our area. All the food, all the money donated at this Rayleigh stays in Galt, so please remember that, because there are quite a few less fortunate than us out there. And third, on that same note, when you go out and buy your kids a toy or something, buy another one, because there are children in town that won't be receiving as much as some of the kids, and drop it off anywhere. The police department, South County Services, just anywhere. Let's just get some toys out to those kids. And I also want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone, too.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Payne?
Well, I want to thank Mary Lou and South County Services for the wonderful senior community luncheon. And it really was a community. It was packed. And it's something I look forward to every year, and thank you for doing that for the community. I know it means a lot to those seniors. You can just see it in their faces. Also, I want to thank the staff that has worked so hard for the entertainment, I guess you'd say. We had at the Employee Appreciation Luncheon, dinner, whatever you want to call it. I know they worked hard, and it was a great event, and thank you so much, staff, for all that you've done to make Christmas a little bit merrier at City Hall. And to everybody else, I wish a Merry Christmas and look forward to the next year.
I forgot something.
Go for it.
And Kurt knows about it too, and Barbara too, so I think that we're all in on this. December 19th, this Saturday at Littleton will be a community event, and it's a dinner or luncheon. It's from 1 to 4, and it's a free turkey dinner to anyone who wants to come out. The Rotary, F&M Bank, Cal Waste, they all put it together. South County Services is donating some turkeys also. Last year we did 1,500 dinners, and we're trying for 2,000 this year. So, and it's for anybody, and it's a really fun day because the city comes out and they can hang out with each other and have a good meal. So I hope everybody comes to that.
Well said. Whoever the young man was who had it driving the trailer for us, can we have him next year? He didn't bounce us. It was perfect. It didn't rain. He did a great job. We did run out of candy, but you did a beautiful job of covering for us. Really appreciate it. And then somebody left me hanging the last couple of blocks.
Did you bail?
He bailed on me.
It's cold.
We're out of candy.
What's the point?
Exactly. Also, the senior luncheon, it was a lot of fun, but I want to say one thing. Mary Lou, you were a trooper, because you were sitting up there in pain after dropping that on your foot, and you did a beautiful job, and it was really a nice event.
Thank you very much.
And to everyone else, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and please let it be safe. With that, we will adjourn this meeting.